Listen to me. This is your moment. This is your time. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you feel like it. Now. See, too many people walk around like life owes them something. Like success is supposed to knock on their door and beg to be let in. No, life doesn't give handouts. Life gives opportunity. But it's on you to rise to the challenge. It's on you to say, I'm not staying the same. I'm getting better. Improvement doesn't start when life gets easier. It doesn't begin when all your problems disappear or when you finally feel ready. The truth is, there is no perfect moment to change your life. That perfect time you've been waiting on, it's a myth. It's an excuse disguised as logic. The world will never slow down just so you can catch up. You gotta move now. Right now. Not later. Not when you're less tired. Not when it feels more comfortable. No. The mistake most people make is waiting. Waiting for motivation. Waiting for signs. Waiting until the bills are paid, the kids are grown, the pain goes away or the stars align. But waiting is just fear wearing a suit. It looks mature, it sounds wise. But deep down, it's hesitation. And hesitation is a killer of progress. It steals momentum. It breeds doubt. It makes you forget why you started. If you keep waiting for the right time, you'll blink and 10 years will pass. 10 years of playing. 10 years of almost. 10 years of thinking instead of doing. You want to know when the best time to start is. When it's uncomfortable. When you're unsure. When you're scared. That's the moment. That's where the growth began. Because if you only act when it's easy, you'll never build the muscle to keep going when it's hard. You'll never build discipline. And discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, next week, I'll start eating better? Or next month, I'll finally sign up for the course? Or next year, I'll really focus on myself? And how many times did that next week never come? That next month turned into another year of the same habits. You don't need a new calendar to become a new person. You just need a new decision, a real one. A right now decision that says, I'm done delaying my growth. Starting now isn't about being fully prepared. It's about being fully committed. You won't have all the answers. You won't feel 100% confident. But if you've got the reason, the why, and the willingness, that's enough to take the first step. And the first step is everything. Because movement creates momentum. And momentum makes change possible. There's this lie people believe that they need motivation to start. That they need to feel inspired first. But motivation is a byproduct action, not the other way around. You don't wait to feel ready. You do it scared. You do it tired. You do it tired. You do it with shaking hands and a racing heart. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward in spite of it. Think about a rocket. The most energy it ever uses is at liftoff. That's when resistance highest. It doesn't wait for gravity to go away. It fights through it. That's you. You're the rocket. Starting now is your liftoff. It's not supposed to feel smooth. It's supposed to feel like a battle. But if you can just get through that first push, if you can force yourself to move before your mind talks you out of it, you'll start to build momentum that carries you forward. And don't confuse slow progress with failure. Don't think that because you're not seeing results right away, you've made a mistake. Starting now isn't about seeing immediate change. It's about making a choice that echoes. Every decision you make today sets the tone for who you become tomorrow. Every time you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you're laying bricks. And eventually that wall of self-discipline becomes a foundation you can stand on. People waste years of their lives looking for signs, for clarity, for confidence. But clarity comes after action. The clarity comes after action. Confidence comes after experience. And improvement comes after effort. If you want to level up, you got to start climbing. There's no elevator to self-growth. There's no shortcut. Just a staircase made of grit, pain, sacrifice, and relentless effort in the first step. And the first step, that's you, right now. If you wait, you will watch. You will watch others grow. You will watch others succeed. You will scroll through their stories and wonder why not you. But deep down, you'll know why. Because you didn't move. Because you thought you had more time. But the clock doesn't stop. Every second you waste is one you'll never get back. The gap between where you are and where you want to be, that gap is built on missed moments. So don't miss another one. Forget perfect time. Forget perfect timing. Forget perfect plan. Just start. Start messy. Start unsure. Start with fear in your chest and doubt in your mind. Because the only thing worse than failing is never trying. And the only thing worse than pain is regret. You don't need the world to believe in you. You just need you. You don't need approval. You don't need approval. You don't need applause. All you need is a decision. One decision that says, I will not stay here. I will not be the same person in 6 months that I am today. I'm moving now. No more waiting. And maybe the people around you won't understand. Maybe they'll say you've changed. Good. That's the point. You're not here to live on repeat. You're not here to settle. You're here to grow, to rise, to stretch yourself beyond your limits. And that journey begins the moment you stop waiting and start becoming. Comfort whispers to you that you're fine where you are. It tells you to relax, to take it easy, to slow down. And the truth is, comfort feels good temporarily, but long term, it kills dreams. It numbs your potential. It convinces you that average is acceptable, that just getting by is enough, that tomorrow is always there. But discipline tells a different story. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline isn't based on mood. It's based on mission. If you want to improve yourself, you have to be willing to trade comfort for consistency, trade temporary ease for permanent growth. They don't lack potential. They lack discipline. They do things when it's convenient, when the sun is out, when their friends are cheering them on. But improvement doesn't happen on your best day. It happens on your worst day, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when nobody's watching. That's when it counts. Because anyone can show up when they feel good, but few show up when it hurts. And that's the difference between people who talk about growth and people who live it. Discipline is a decision you make every single day. It's the voice in your head that says, get up, when everything in your body says, stay down. It's the push that gets you through one more rep, one more page, one more hour of work when your comfort zone is begging you to stop. And that voice, it's not born live. You have to train it. You have to develop it through repetition, through small acts of self-control, through moments where you choose what's right over what's easy. Look around. Most people want the results without the routine. They want the reward without the responsibility. But greatness doesn't show up for people who dabble. It shows up for people who commit. The ones who say, no matter how I feel, I'm showing up. Whether it's raining or sunny, whether they slept great or barely at all, they show up. Because discipline is bigger than feelings. Feelings come and go, but your goals don't care how you feel. They only respond to effort. You don't build discipline by wishing for it. You build it by doing hard things on purpose, by saying no to distractions, by waking up early when your bed feels like the safest place in the world, by choosing to work out instead of the couch, by putting down your phone and picking up your purpose. Every one of those moments is a brick, and brick by brick, you build a life that's not controlled by emotion, but by intention. There will be days when you don't feel like doing it. That's not a sign to stop. It's a test. Growth demands discomfort. It demands discipline. It demands discipline. And discipline means choosing what you want most over what you want now. That's the battle. Every time you delay a workout, skip a study session, or hit snooze, you strengthen your comfort zone. But every time you act in spite of how you feel, you strengthen your will. And your will is what separates the average from the unstoppable. Discipline is what gets you up before the sun. It's what helps you say no when temptation calls. It's what drives you to do what's necessary even when nobody's clapping for you. That's the thing. Real discipline happens in the dark. It's not glamorous, it's lonely. It's quiet. But that's where character is built. That's where your future is formed. Comfort wants you to believe that discipline is painful. And yes, sometimes it is. But you know what's worse than the pain of discipline? The pain of regret. The pain of waking up one day and realizing you could have been more. You should have tried harder. You let the easy path rob you of the extraordinary life you were capable of living. Regret weighs tons. Discipline weighs ounces. You choose which one you want to carry. Every successful person you admire, every athlete, every entrepreneur, every artist, they didn't get there because they always felt like working. They got there because they refused to let their comfort zone define their identity. They embrace structure. They embrace sacrifice. They embrace the grind. And you can too, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Discipline is about controlling your day before your day controls you. It's about having a system, a schedule, a standard. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. You don't have to be the best in the world. You just have to be better than the excuses you used to believe. That starts with how you wake up, how you speak to yourself, how you handle the little things. Because the little things add up, and eventually they become everything. Comfort will lie to you. It will tell you that you've done enough, that you've worked hard already, that you deserve a break. And sometimes, yes, you do need rest, but there's a difference between rest and retreat. Rest and retreat. Rest is planned. Rest is strategic. Retreat is surrender. And most people don't rest. They quit. They quit on their goals in the name of comfort. But you've got to be different. You've got to want growth more than ease, progress more than praise. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. It's the hidden fuel behind every win. The quiet strength behind every comeback. Won't always feel good. It won't always look good. But it will always get you closer to who you want to be. The world doesn't reward what you almost did. It rewards what you repeatedly do. We live in a time where inspiration everywhere. Quotes fill your feed. Speeches go viral. You hear story after story of people turning their lives around, building empires, overcoming the odds. And for a few minutes, you feel something, fired up, ready to change, ready to grind. But then a moment fades. You get distracted. You scroll. You move on. That spark that was supposed to light the fire never caught. Why? Because inspiration's not enough. It's not what changes your life. Action is. Inspiration is the match. Action is the firewood. If you don't follow up that emotion with execution, it dies. Every time we've gotten addicted to the feeling of motivation without the pain of progress, we love the hype, the energy, the noise. But when the music stops, what's left? Are you doing the work? Are you showing up? Or are you just getting high on motivation, hoping that someday it turns into results? Because it won't. Your life does not change when you feel inspired. Your life changes when you change your behavior. When you do the work no one sees. When you keep going long after the feeling fades. Too many people think the feeling itself is the breakthrough. They confuse the idea of improvement with actual transformation. Listening to a podcast about success doesn't make you successful. Reading a book on discipline doesn't make you disciplined. Going to a seminar doesn't change your life. You change your life when you take what you heard and you apply it over and over again with consistency, with intention, with grit. This is where most people fall short. They start strong, they get excited, they write goals, buy a planner, sign up for gym memberships. But when it gets hard, when it gets boring, when results don't come quick enough, they fall off. Because they were in love with the feeling, not the process. But the process is everything. The process is where growth lives. The process is what separates the hype from the results. Real progress is unglamorous, it's quiet, it's repetitive. It's showing up at 6 a.m. with no applause. It's writing when no one's reading. It's grinding when no one's cheering. That's the part they don't post. And that's the part you don't see in highlight reels. But that's where the wins are made. That's where real change begins. Not in the moment you felt inspired, but in the moment you did the work anyway. You can post quotes every day and still stay stuck. You can talk about your goals with passion and still never move forward. Yeah, that's the filter. It's what divides the people who want change from the people who make change. Doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you feel. It only matters what you do consistently. And here's the truth most don't want to hear. Action is often boring. It's not exciting. It's not emotional. It's not always fulfilling. Some days it feels like a grind. Some days it feels like you're going nowhere. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. Because it means you're training your mind to lead your body. It means you're not just chasing emotion. You're building habits. And habits are what drive success. You don't rise to the level of your inspiration. You fall to the level of your systems. The routines you commit to daily shape who you become. Not the big emotional declarations. Not the promises you make to yourself after watching a video. The real shift comes from small, repeated acts of discipline. You want to improve? Start doing the work even when it's inconvenient, even when it's lonely, even when it's thankless. People think they need more motivation. They don't. They need more movements. Because the more you move, the more motivated you become. Action creates momentum. And momentum creates results. Those results feeds your belief. And belief keeps you going. But it all starts with movement. Not talking, not planning, not dreaming, doing. There's a world of difference between inspiration and implementation. Inspiration gives you an emotional lift. Implementation gives you lasting transformation. You can feel inspired and still fail. But when you implement, when you execute, when you do the work, no matter how you feel, you start building a version of yourself that doesn't need hype to succeed. You become dangerous, unstoppable, focused. Success doesn't belong to the most inspired. It belongs to the most disciplined. It belongs to the most disciplined, the most consistent, the ones who keep showing up when it's hard, the ones who keep learning, keep pushing, keep adjusting, and keep going. You have to be willing to take messy action. Imperfect action, the kind that feels clumsy and awkward at first. But every step you take pushes you closer to the person you're trying to become. You can scroll through motivation all day and still live the same life. You can know everything about what it takes to win and still lose. Because knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. Execution is power. Consistency is power. So if you're really serious about improving yourself, stop looking for another quote to inspire you. Start building a pattern of action that rewires your life. One choice at a time, one habit at a time, one disciplined moment at a time. Feeling inspired is not the goal. Living changed is, and the only way to get there is through what you do when no one's clapping, what you do when no one's watching, what you do when no one's posting about it. That's the truth about real growth. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's just done. Day in, day out, without excuses. Without waiting for another wave of emotion, without needing to feel inspired. Improvement is not a race against anyone else. It's a daily battle with yourself. The world teaches you to compete with others. Look at their success. Compare their timeline to yours. Measure your worth against their highlights. But that's not the path to true growth. Real improvement starts when you stop looking sideways and start looking in the mirror. It's about beating the person you were yesterday every single day. That version of you that made excuses, that version of you that hit snooze, that version of you that gave 70% effort and called it a try. Pride, that's your opponent. It doesn't matter who's ahead of you. It doesn't matter what they've achieved or how far they've gone. Your journey is yours. And your progress is measured not by where they are, but by how far you've come. Too many people get distracted by someone else's chapter 20 when they're still writing chapter 3. But that comparison will kill your confidence. It will make you feel behind, when in reality, you're exactly where you need to be, as long as you're moving forward. You want to improve yourself. Then set your eyes on you. Ask yourself, did I grow today? Did I give my best effort today? Or did I make a better choice than I did yesterday? That's how progress is made. Not in leaps, but in inches. And those inches over time turn into miles. The small habits, the small wins, the small shifts, they compound. But only if you stay consistent. Only if you stay focused on your lane. You can't control someone else's pace. You can't control their resources, their support, their timing. What you can control is your work ethic, your attitude, your effort, your discipline. That's your zone of power. That's where your focus should live. If you keep measuring your success by someone else's scoreboard, you'll never feel like you're enough. But when you compete with who you were yesterday, every bit of progress is a win. Every step forward is fuel. Improvement is a mindset. It's waking up and saying, I may not be the best yet, but I'm better than I was. It's being honest about your weaknesses and determined to change them. It's taking full ownership of your habits, your choices, and your results. No one else is responsible for your growth. No one else is accountable for your consistency. It's on you. The old version of you, complacent, passive, unsure, that version is always there, waiting to come back, waiting for you to get tired, waiting for you to slow down, waiting for you to fall back into comfort. You have to fight that version daily because growth isn't permanent. It's earned over and over again. Every day you show up and choose progress, you win that fight. But the moment you get lazy, the old you starts creeping back. That's why you need to measure yourself by yourself. Stop worrying about who's ahead. Start worrying about who you're becoming. The truth is, someone else's success doesn't take away from yours. Their progress doesn't cancel yours. But if you let their progress distract you, discourage you, or make you doubt yourself, you've already lost. Your focus must be internal. Your mission must be personal. Set your own standard. Raise your own bar. You know where you're falling short. You know where you've been playing small. You know the areas where you've been talking more than doing. So be real with yourself. Hold yourself to a higher standard than anyone else would. That's how leaders are built. That's how champions are made, not by beating other people, but by refusing to settle for anything less than full effort and full integrity. Some days progress looks like pushing harder. Other days, it looks like showing up even when you're not at your best. Either way, the goal is the same, to be a little better than you were. Stronger, wiser, more focused, more resilient. You don't have to transform your life overnight. You just have to get stronger than your excuses today. Then do it again tomorrow. You won't always feel motivated to do it. You won't always feel like it's working. But if you keep showing up and outworking the person you were yesterday, you're moving in the right direction. And that direction is what matters most. Progress isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about course correction. It's about choosing not to repeat the same mistakes just because they're familiar or easy. Track your growth. Pay attention to your patterns. Notice when you're slipping back into old habits and correct yourself quickly. Because the longer you let the old you take control, the harder it becomes to reclaim that momentum. Be ruthless with your accountability. Give yourself grace, yes, but don't give yourself excuses. You don't need to be better than anyone else. You just need to be better than a version of you that gave up too early. This journey of self-improvement isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily one. You recommit to it every time you wake up and choose action over apathy, effort over ease, discipline over doubt. And the beautiful part, you don't need permission. You don't need approval. You just need the courage to face yourself honestly and the discipline to grow from what you see. Every new day gives you a fresh opportunity to build, to rise, to move closer to the person you know you're capable of becoming. Your only job is to take that opportunity and make the most of it. Excuses are easy. They come naturally. You don't have to work to make them. They show up every time things get hard. Every time you feel tired, every time you feel like quitting, every time progress feels slow or uncomfortable. Excuses give you an out. They sound reasonable. They sound reasonable. They sound like protection. They sound like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not ready. I don't have the time. But here's the truth. Every excuse is just a lie you tell yourself to feel better about staying the same. Every excuse is a wall between you and your potential. And if you don't take control, then they will take control of you. You weren't born with excuses. You learned them. You picked them up from your environment, from your habits, from other people who chose to settle. But just because you learn how to make excuses doesn't mean you have to keep making them. You can unlearn them. You can silence them. You can replace them with action. Because no matter how good your excuse sounds, it will never change your life. Action will. Ownership will. Responsibility will. Excuses don't build success. They destroy it from the inside out. You see, when you make an excuse, you're handing over your power. You're saying, this thing outside of me is more powerful than the will inside of me. You're giving your control away to circumstances, to feelings, to fear. But improvement only begins when you stop blaming everything and everyone else and start holding yourself accountable. You can't control the past. You can't always control your environment, but you can control what you do next. That's your power. That's your responsibility. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they've convinced themselves it's okay to settle. They tell themselves a story that justifies quitting. And the more you repeat that story, the more it becomes your identity. You start believing you're the type of person who never finishes, who always struggles, who can't break through. But those are not facts. Those are excuses you've repeated so many times that they feel like truth. And the only way to break that cycle is to change the story, one action at a time. You have to develop a zero excuse mentality. That means when your mind starts telling you it's too hard, you respond to it anyway. When your body says, I'm too tired, you say one more rep. When life gets chaotic and stressful and uncomfortable, you look it in the eye and say, I don't stop. That mindset isn't about being superhuman. It's about being committed. It's about being committed. It's about deciding that your goals matter more than your feelings, that your growth matters more than your comfort. that your future matters more than your excuses. Excuses will always have perfect timing. They'll show up just when you're about to level up, just when you're close to a breakthrough, just when the path gets steep and you start to doubt yourself. That's the test. That's when the old version of you shows up trying to pull you back. But that version is a liar. That version wants comfort. That version wants safety. That version wants to stay exactly where you are right now. And if you listen to it, you'll never move forward. Every time you push past an excuse, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your limits. You prove to yourself that you don't need to feel perfect to make progress. And the more you act despite the excuses, the quieter they become. It's like building mental armor. It doesn't mean the thoughts go away. It means you stop giving them power. You start leading with your decisions, not your doubts. With your commitments, not your conditions. The difference between high performers and everyone else isn't that they don't have excuses. It's that they don't accept them. When they accept them, they override them. They train themselves to take action no matter what. They know that progress is built through daily discipline, not daily comfort. They understand that excellence requires sacrifice. And the biggest sacrifice is often giving up the lies that keep you average. Think about all the time and energy excuses steal. The time you could have spent getting better. The energy you could have used pushing forward. Excuses are like a slow leak in a tire. You don't always notice them at first, but over time, they drain your drive. They drain your drive. They drain your belief. They keep you stuck. And once you're stuck long enough, you start accepting it as normal. That's the danger. That's the trap. You start adjusting your drums and your dreams to fit your laziness instead of adjusting your habits to fit your goals. If you want to improve yourself, you have to get brutally honest. No more sugarcoating. No more soft answer. You have to face the truth about what's holding you back. And 9 times out of 10, it's not your circumstances. It's the story you're telling yourself about those circumstances. You're not too busy. You're just not prioritizing. You're not too tired. You're just out of discipline. You're not stuck. You're just scared to act. But fear can't stop you if you refuse to stand still. Tired can't stop you if you decide to keep moving. Busy can't stop you if you make room for what matters. That's how you win. That's how you grow. One honest moment at a time. One small decision to choose action over excuse, over and over again, until your mindset changes, until your habits change, until your results change. It won't be easy. It won't be easy. It won't always feel good, but it's worth it. The life you want is on the other side of your excuses. The person you want to become is waiting behind the lies you keep telling yourself. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to start. Right now, right where you are, with what you got. And the second you do that, really do that, you start to take your power back. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the key. Every person you admire, every story of success, every example of transformation, it was forged in discomfort. Growth doesn't come from staying comfortable. It comes from stretching, pushing, grinding, and doing things that your old self would have run from. You don't level up in ease. You level up in pressure, in resistance, in uncertainty. That's where the real change begins. Not in the perfect conditions, but in the chaos that challenges who you are and demands who you can become. Most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They run from it. They hide behind routines, behind excuses, behind distractions. They'll choose anything that gives them a sense of safety, even if it keeps them stuck. But improvement requires the opposite. It requires you to walk straight into the fire, to sit with the hard truths, to step into rooms where you don't feel ready, to have conversations that make your voice shake, to try things that scare you, fail at things that test you, and still keep moving forward. There's a reason so few people truly improve themselves, because the process is uncomfortable. And not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Growth will confront your ego. It will force you to admit that you were wrong, that you need to change, that your old ways no longer serve your future. That's not easy. That's not fun. But that's real. You don't get to the next version of you by staying where you are. You get there by breaking your own patterns, by doing the opposite of what feels natural, and by choosing discipline over default. You have to train yourself to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the mindset. That's the shift. Because discomfort is the signal that you're stepping outside the zone where nothing changes. When your heart races, when your hands shake, When your mind starts searching for the exit, that's when you know you're close to something real. Because on the other side of that challenge is a better version of you, a sharper mind, a stronger body, a deeper belief. You can't read your way into that. You can't talk your way into that. You have to earn it in the gym, in the office, in your relationships, in your habits, through repetition,